I will say that, oh, I should have kept one of those for myself. Okay. Oh, consider. I think I will say that this is a little bit of a challenging concept to understand. So I will do my best to make it clear for you. I have a little demonstration, hopefully at the end, that will solidify that for you. So I'm just going to read here first, no luck. Okay, I'll let you work on that. Pardon me? The power button is taken. Oh, that's not good. Someone's messing around. No? Alright, so we've talked about, it's been so long since we've talked. We've talked about ecosystems. We've talked about the sun's energy, that's right, now it's coming back to me. We talked about solar energy, right? So now we're going to talk about the energy as it moves through the ecosystem. So, I'm going to read along here, but I'm also going to have my other page, which I don't have in front of me, with some notes too as well. So we're making notes out of what we're reading here. I've got it here, I'll be okay. I just need to know where to stop, that's all.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Yeah. So you can begin to understand energy flows by categorizing living things by their trophic level in the ecosystem, according to how they gain energy. The term trophic comes from a Greek word meaning feeder. So you've probably got a blank there, right? A way of categorizing living things according to how they gain energy. So we're probably supposed to put something right here. What are we defining when we say a way of categorizing living things according to how they gain energy? Trophic level. Not trophy level, trophic level. So there's still light in there, that front one. I see some people have filled it in already. Organisms, would you turn that basement light on there right behind you? I just need a little bit more. I don't, yeah. Oh, someone's bright. I need a little bit more than that. A little bit more. I always think it's going to make it brighter, but it never. Organisms that can make their own food from basic nutrients and sunlight and other non-living energy sources are placed in the first trophic level. Not surprisingly, these organisms are also referred to as producers or autotrophs, from Greek words meaning self-feeders. Plants, algae, and some other types of bacteria are in the first trophic level. So the first trophic level at the bottom, they make their own food. And you guys did this in grade 7, I know, right? Called the producers, like plants. We call them also autotrophs. They are self-feeders. They don't have to go out and look for their Cheerios. They produce their own food. Right? They turn the sun's energy into food for them and energy. That would be nice, eh? Just sit outside and take out, right? The second trophic level contains organisms that feed on the producers. These organisms are referred to as primary consumers. What does primary mean? Primary means first. Right? Primary consumers rely on autotrophs directly for the source of energy. So we're talking about animals at the second trophic level that eat plants. Things like mice and deer, maybe cows. Things that are, what's the other word for things that eat only plants? Really? Not omnivores, you're on the right track. Eh? Not vegetarian. Herbivores, right? Herbivores eat only plants. Omnivores do both, yeah, eat everything. Like teenagers. Yeah, that's okay. No worries. Okay, so primary consumers are at the second trophic level. So you might get confused there because primary means first, but primary consumers are at the second trophic level because the autotrophs are first. Secondary consumers are animals in the third trophic level. They rely on primary consumers for their source of energy. They are still dependent upon the autotrophs in the first trophic level. Although a wolf eats other animals, it still relies indirectly on the photosynthesis of plants for energy. The deer that the wolf eats has eaten the buds of the spruce tree or grass. Consumers of whatever trophic level are sometimes called heterotrophs. Heterotrophs cannot make their own food and so must obtain their food and energy from autotrophs or other heterotrophs. Human beings are heterotrophs. We depend upon other animals. We generally don't go out and find our own food. Third trophic level, feed on primary consumers, still depend on autotrophs indirectly. And so examples there would be, do I have examples? Do you have examples? What are some examples there? wolves, humans, maybe tigers. That's an exciting one. Things that feed on other animals, right? But they all depend upon plants, ultimately. And ultimately, even before that, I guess the sun. All good? I see a picture coming up. Isn't that this one here? Is that not the same one? I think I just copied it, right? Secondary consumers? I think I just copied it. Do not make their own food, depend on our choice, direct or indirect. Examples. Go ahead, Matt. Having some trouble? All right, energy and food chains. Every organism within an ecosystem provides energy for other organisms. Food chains are a way of showing a step-by-step sequence who eat to in an ecosystem. The sequence in figure 2 shows a one-way flow of energy in a simple food chain from producer to secondary consumer. You see that picture in the bottom right-hand corner there? Okay, on the textbook thing? Right, bottom right-hand corner there. So you see the tree, I guess, the spruce tree, the Christmas tree, and then the deer, and then the wolf, right? So that's called the food chain, and it goes one direction. And it just basically shows who eats who. Well, it looks like it's a tree, right?
The tree eats the deer?
Hey?
Tree eats the deer.
Well, no, that shows that the deer eats the tree. Right? The tree goes to the deer. The deer does not make its own energy, instead it relies on the spruce tree. The deer is a heterotroph. Since the deer receives its energy 2 steps away from the original source of sunlight, it is in the second trophic level. Using the same reasoning, the wolf, also a heterotroph, is a member of the third trophic level. So you should be able to sort of figure out, if I give you a picture, who's at the first, who's at the second, who's at the third. Consumers are placed in categories based on the trophic level in the food chain. A carnivore directly feeding on a primary consumer is a secondary consumer. However, if the carnivore eats a secondary consumer, another carnivore, it is now what's called a tertiary consumer. Tertiary is a fancy word for third. It is at the fourth trophic level. The final carnivore in any food chain is called a top carnivore. Top carnivores are not eaten by other animals, at least while they're alive. In the example above, the wolf is a secondary consumer and a top carnivore, since it obtains its energy from the deer and no other animal eats the wolf. What are some other top carnivores? Cougars, humans, sharks. Bears are kind of omnivores, right? Well, does anything hunt bear?
Like black bears.
Other bears?
Grizzly bears.
I don't know.
Okay, well, polar bears.
Polar bears would be at the top, yeah, true. Yeah, I would say tigers. Okay, so shows a sequence of who eats whom. They are one directional. That would be a food chain. Here's another example here, not the one that you guys have. This one shows the worm eating dead plant. Turtle eats worm, eagle eats turtle. I would say eagles are also top carnivores, right? So not eaten, end of the food chain, top carnivores. Skunks? Does anything eat a skunk? Only once, probably. Yeah, maybe. Did you guys see anyone drive south to Brandon in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, there's something like that.
Well, there's always a skunk on the road. There was a deer just at the top of the hill, and we went by. Remember that, Alexa? We went by, and it was nothing but like bones.
Yeah, my mom actually said the exact same.
Yeah, it was kind of freaky actually. There was one time. Do you remember this, Alexa? We were coming back from. We good, Hunter? Okay. We were coming back from Mendoza skiing, and we were driving through the park, and we saw a wolf running through the ditch in the snow. And then about, I don't know, maybe 100 meters up the road, there was another wolf on the other side of the road running through the ditch. And then another 100 meters up, there was 3 or 4 wolves, and they were chasing a moose through the ditch they were hunting. Yeah. But the wolves were running out of gas, and that moose had lost energy left. He sidestepped. Oh, time for a question. Okay, so who is, that's kind of small, isn't it?
You don't even have that.
No, I know you don't. This is just a have you been paying attention kind of thing. You don't even have it on your paper. So the question here is, who is the top level carnivore in this chain right here? I think I've already mentioned the answer. A, B, C, or D? Who is the top level carnivore here?
Yeah, I think it's the worm.
Well, whatever. You put in your answer, and then we'll find out.
Worms are set.
Won't be last here.
Is Flickers missing its tail?
A, B, C, or D? Plant, worm, turtle, eagle. Come on, Matthew. Press enter. Oh my goodness, you guys. Yeah, it's eagle, right? Right there at the top. The very top. Nobody eats him. Oh, now, I don't think we've given this just yet, have we? I'm going to start it, though, because I think you can figure it out. A collection of interlocking food chains. So a whole bunch of food chains put together is known as a, again, you probably learned this in grade 7. Food chain, food group, food web, food set. Matthew, don't be last.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's
Pretty easy.
yes.
We were hunting once.
Yeah.
And there was a wolf out in the field.
Yeah.
So she shot the wolf. The wolf went to his stomach.
Yeah.
Its organs gone. But the wolf is swallowing it.
Yeah.
He turns and looks and starts eating it.
Are you serious? Wow.
Starts picking up his own guts.
Really?
Yeah. It's weird.
Oh. That's like Walking Dead kind of stuff. Matthew, you're last again.
It's long ago.
What's the right answer? C. Food web is what they're known as. If you flip the page over, there's the answer, right? Flip your textbook page over there, Curtis. Food webs. Consider what would happen if the deer in figure 2 depended exclusively on the buds of spruce trees for food. Now imagine what would happen if a new animal were introduced. Spruce budworms also eat the buds of spruce trees. What would happen to the deer if spruce budworms ate most of the spruce buds in a forest? And how would the wolves in turn be affected? You might expect that the deer deprived of food would die, and so would the wolves. But such dramatic cause and effect relationships are rare in natural ecosystems. So if you think about, okay, we're talking about this one here, right? So in that food chain, if spruce budworm, if the little insect known as a spruce budworm came in and took out all the trees, what would happen to the deer population? It would die, right? And then the wolves would also die. But when you have a food web, like up on the screen or up on the next page, the animals will adapt and they'll start eating other things, right? But you have to be cautious with it. Okay, so I'm reading now the second paragraph on the second page. Matthew, listen along. Deer also eat buds, stems, and bark of a variety of trees and shrubs, as well as certain grasses. The wolf includes in its diet many different animals, such as rabbits, ground nesting birds, and their eggs, beavers, and muskrats. In reality, each individual organism in an ecosystem is involved in many food chains. They all interlock with each other, forming a feeding relationship called a food web, and I'm sure you guys have talked about those before. The most stable ecosystems, those with the greatest biodiversity, remember the Bill Nye video? Biodiversity? Have such complex and well-developed food webs that the reduction in numbers or even the complete removal of one type of organism may have only a small effect on the overall web. If spruce budworms eat most of the spruce buds, deer will switch to another tree or grass and wolves will not be much affected. However, where abiotic factors limit the number of organisms, the web begins to look more like a food chain. What's an abiotic factor again?
Oh, a single cell organism.
No, abiotic factor. Non-living factor that affects it, right? Like wind, amount of sunlight, climate, stuff like that. What's next on your page? Oh. We finished that question. Okay, so this comes from the Bill Nye video. The biodiversity of an ecosystem, the simpler the food web. The lower the biodiversity, the simpler the food web, or the higher, the simpler the food web. You might just have to think here. Do you remember what biodiversity means? Biodiversity refers to the number of animals or the number of different animals in an ecosystem. So, simpler is lower or higher? Lower. Oh, there are lots of people still. Oh, it's 9:25 already. I gotta get cooking here. Can I see how much more I got to do here? Okay, not much. Okay. David, what do you say?
I say C.
A or B? You can't say C. Oh my goodness, you guys. A. Lower the biodiversity, the simpler the food web. High biodiversity means that it's complex and therefore stronger. How come if there's low biodiversity, the web is weak? How come? There's not that many animals, so it means that if one thing is taken out, eaten, then the food web will fall apart. Okay, it's kind of like a house built like with just like a few bricks, I guess, kind of thing. You got to have it more complex. Which is the answer to number 4. So hopefully you were listening, because it's part of this question. It's the same sentence. The lower the biodiversity of an ecosystem, the simpler the food web, and the what each organism is. More vulnerable, less vulnerable. What does the word vulnerable mean? Tell me what does vulnerable mean. I'll give you an example. Right now, Curtis is vulnerable to finding a different spot in the room. Really? It was my way of saying it. Lower means that they're in danger, right? So if there's low biodiversity, does that mean that each organism is more vulnerable or less vulnerable? You got to think along with me. Low biodiversity means simple food web, which means, remember I said if you take out one piece, what happens? So is it more vulnerable or is it less vulnerable? And the answer is A, more vulnerable. Do you guys have these on your sheets? You don't have them anywhere, do you? You do? No, on your fill in the life one. Yeah, you do. Fill them in. If you haven't filled them in, fill them in. I only teach this once every 5 months, so oh yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So underneath that food web here, you got to fill that in. More vulnerable. And I would put a star beside it because that would be something that I would expect you to know. You could see that again on a test situation. I'm going to read you about the last 2 paragraphs here on the page, in the middle, sorry. The most stable ecosystems, those with the greatest biodiversity, have such complex and well-developed food webs that the reduction in numbers or even the complete removal of one type of organism may have only a small effect on the overall web. If spruce budworms eat most of the spruce buds, deer will switch to another tree of grass and the wolves will not be affected. However, where abiotic factors limit the number of organisms, the webs begin to look more like food chains. I think I've read that already, haven't I? Yeah. This is particularly true in the Arctic, where the number of producers is small. Because there is less energy available from the sun, how come? Why is there less energy from the sun in the Arctic? The sun does reflect, that's true. But there's a more important reason.
Where is its place on?
Where is the sun in the summertime? Oh, in the sky. Don't say out. Well, I mean, I guess. Where is the sun in the summertime? Really high, right? Like almost straight overhead. Where is it in the wintertime?
Whoa.
Really low. So as you go farther north, the sun gets
Whoa.
lower and lower. And if you go farther up north, there's like almost constant dark, right? So there's very little sun energy because of the sun is so low. So, there's less energy available in the sun, and temperatures drop below. Produced in the Arctic can't photosynthesize rapidly to do itself. There's less plants, less energy is available, so fewer organisms can live there. The limited number of organisms means. Are you? So they're trying to hear me. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about why it would be cool.
Why what? It'd be cool to have.
Yeah.
What would be cool?
If if the sun during winter when it gets there, it's gonna be more cool here because the sun comes there.
Well, that's why it is colder here, right?
Yeah.
You can share that with other people. Okay. That way that we're all kind of listening, right? I don't mind listening to your conversation. All of this part of what we're talking about. Are we done? Yeah. Okay. Less energy is available, so fewer organisms can live in it. The limited number of organisms means that their relationship to each other are more direct. In these situations, the loss of any one member will have a profound effect on all of the organisms. The lower the biodiversity of an ecosystem, the simpler the food web, and the more vulnerable each organism is. Put a star beside that last sentence there, or highlight it or whatever. That's the important one. The bottom of it. Okay, this is what I'm really trying to get at today. Whew, hard work getting here. Limits on energy transfer. This is the key idea for the day. Okay? So the energy gets transferred from sun to plants to primary consumers, secondary consumers, and so on down the road. Is all of the energy transferred?
No.
Why not? Because what? Well, okay, now that is true. Let's talk about just the energy that the plants do absorb. Not the stuff that's reflected. Let's put that aside there. Just the energy that the plants absorb. Is all of it transferred down the line kind of thing? What do you think? Anyone? Let's read. Producers use energy from sunlight and basic nutrients to make molecules of sugar. Sugar molecules contain the chemical energy that drives ecosystems. Photosynthesis provides the energy required by the entire ecosystem. Without photosynthesis, energy would not move from the abiotic environment to living things. Solar energy must be converted into chemical energy before it can be used by living things, which would be a problem if we were in a nuclear war, because you get that ash thing in the air and the sun is blotted out and we'd be in real trouble. We'd be in trouble. Every time energy is transferred within an ecosystem, some of the energy changes form. For example, some of the energy from the sun is converted into chemical energy by plants as they photosynthesize. Animals, in turn, rely on the chemical energy or food produced by plants to sustain their lives. However, here's the key thing. If you're following along, highlight. However, not all of the chemical energy that a plant creates can reach the animal that eats it. Key idea of the whole day. Not all of the chemical energy that a plant creates can reach the animal that eats it. The plant uses most of that energy to stay alive and to manufacture the chemicals it needs to grow. Bottom of this page here now. Okay? Follow along then. Once an animal takes chemical energy from a plant, it doesn't store it all. That bottom paragraph there is the most important. So, in your notes there, we previously learned the sun gets all the stored energy from the planet gets. Most of it is lost, though. What? How come?
No.
Because of reflection, etc., right? Okay. Every time, put it up as a question. Every time energy is transferred, it changes form, and some is also lost. Lost is in quotations. I'll explain right away. Plants store some energy, and use some for photosynthesis, growing, life activities, or all of the above. Plants store some energy. So the plant grows, right? Sitting there, bottle planted in the garden, maybe potato plants, right? It's using the sun's energy. What's happening to all that energy gets from the sun? The plants use some for photosynthesis, growing, life activities, all of the above? It could be. It could be A, B, C, or D. It's a little bit of a tricky question. You're going to have to think. What do you say, Matthew? Tough one, eh? Baba Plants Gardens, Matthew? Then you should know. Plants store some energy, and they also use some energy for photosynthesis, growing, life activities, all of the above.
So it's saying that they store and use sun?
Yep, they store some, but they also use some energy. What do they use the energy for? What do plants use the energy for? Photosynthesis, growing, life activities, all the above. You're overthinking it at this point now. I'm going to sing the Jeopardy song in my head, and I'm going to press stop. A, B, C, or D, Jared? Hunter, A, B, C, or D? You too, Cameron. A, B, C, or D? Do you guys have that question on your page? Yeah? People are dying to know. They're not going to sleep tonight unless we get this answered here. Lock it in, Cameron. Come on. That is. I brought Kleenex here. The answer is D. Okay? I don't know. What does your blank say?
We just have to write all of that.
Oh, do you? Oh, use some for. Yeah, you're right. Okay? So the deal is this, right? The plants get energy from the sun. They store some of it, but a lot of that energy is used up for things like photosynthesis, growing, basically all the things of plants' daily activities. Now, plants don't wander around, generally, right? So plants actually store more energy than other organisms. Animals, on the other hand, use all of their energy. Here, I need you to listen real carefully here. I'm going to wait till everyone's pen is down. I'm just going to look ahead. I want to see what's coming up next. Okay, so Lily, you're a deer. You're a deer person. All right. So Lily's out there eating grass, eating budworms or spruce buds or whatever deers like to eat. Okay? But as she's eating, what's she also doing? Walking around, right? Running away from wolves, right? Maybe having babies, right? Deers use up almost all of their energy. Now, does the deer grow? Get bigger? As the deer gets bigger, right, it stores more energy, and so when you go and hunt the deer, when you eat the deer, you get some energy from the deer, right? But most of the energy that the deer gets from eating plants goes where? To their poop. But energy, you guys know conservation energy? Now, you ever hear of that? Law of conservation energy? Do you know that? Say again? Energy can't be created or destroyed. So when the deer uses up energy by running around, where does the energy go? Because you can't destroy it. Some, but they never have how much energy the deer uses up. Where does it go? Matthew, I need you to listen so you understand this. Okay, I want everyone to take your hands. Put your hands here like this. Okay? Your hands here like this. And I want you to use up some energy. Where's that energy going? It's going into heat, which just warmed the room slightly. So the cornflakes you had for breakfast that were stored in your body, probably that you had yesterday, you used up the energy and you created heat. That's where most of the energy goes that the deer eats, in heat, as they run around. Okay? Animals use most of their energy. Very little is stored. Most of the energy does not go through the ecosystem. Hello? I do. Sure. Okay. Good. So I want to make this crystal clear here. Animals use most of the energy, very little is stored. Most of the energy that the deer gets from the grass goes where, Matthew? Into heat. It just disappears into the form of heat. Okay? Now, think about this. In every ecosystem, there is more energy the higher you go up the food chain, less energy, the same amount, or none of these. This is a hard. I probably have jumped the gun a little bit on this question because I got the feeling that you don't quite understand it. So there's going to be a video to help explain, and I'm going to re-explain as well. But so as you go up the food chain, I'll go back. Let's go back to this picture here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this picture so that I can talk about it on this page. Okay. So here's an ecosystem. Here's the food chain. What I'm saying is, as you go up, like so, is there more energy? Is there less energy? Is there the same amount? Or, I don't know how it says none of these. I don't know what that means because I don't know what else there could be. I guess it's really A, B, or C. Is there more or less or the same amount of energy as you go up the food chain? And I need you to answer.
Well, I don't know what number 8 on.
It's right there, Matt. Hunter, you got an answer for me? It's a tough one. Fortunately, this doesn't count for anything right now. Right? What do you say, Kiara? A, B, C. A, B, or C. I'll tell you what, it's not D. I hope you didn't answer D. Cross off C? Why do you say cross off C? You don't think it can be C? The answer is B, less energy. Less. How come? Here's where I need you to listen real close, right? Let's talk about, what's this animal right here? Let me see. A rat. Okay. The rat is eating insects. But the rat is out there running around, Matthew, burning up energy. Right? And so, think about, let's say that the rat, over the course of its lifetime, Hunter, what are you doing that? Let's say that the rat, over the course of its lifetime, ingests or eats 1,000 units of energy. What happens to most of that 1,000 units? Heat. So there's only like maybe 5 or 10 units of energy left in the rat for the snake to eat. Most of the energy disappears into the form of heat. Here's a video that might explain it better than me, because I'm not very good at it. Here's the root beer activity. How much root beer will be left over to drink? So, I went out and I got a 2-liter of root beer. Because everyone loves root beer and it's also caffeine free. Now at the end of this, we can all enjoy a little glass of root beer. But we're going to see just how much root beer is left when we're done. Okay? Interesting fact. I got time here to do the interesting fact. One of the major ingredients of root beer was at one time sassafras oil.
What the hell?
That's a nice word, it's a fun word to say. Sassafras oil.
What is that? What is it?
It's a plant root extract used in beverages for its flavor and presumed medicinal properties. The medicinal properties of root beer are emphasized in the advertising slogan. Join health and cheer, drink Hyder's root beer. So when root beer was first, produced, they marketed it, they said it was good for your health. All that sassafras oil. Yeah. Ironically, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration banned sassafras oil in 1960 because it contains the carcinogen and liver-damaging chemical safrole. What does carcinogen mean? It means it produces cancer, causes cancer.
Oh, okay, I'll sort of.
However, a process was later discovered by which the harmful chemical could be removed from sassafras oil while preserving the flavor. So don't worry about root beer being cancer causing. Okay, so when we're done this activity, the class can share the amount that is used by humans, which is the leftovers, because we're at the top of the food chain, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the 2 liters of root beer, 2 liters of root beer represents the sun's total energy.
So we have to split it all.
Well, some of it's gonna have to be used up as we get up the food chain, right? According to the textbook, only 0.023%. I need you guys to listen. Way too much side conversation going on here. Only about 0.023% is actually used by plants for photosynthesis. So in other words, I have to pour everything out but 0.023%. No, I got to dump it out. It's got to be used up. No, that doesn't sound like such a good idea. It seems like a bit of a waste, right? Okay, so who's got a calculator? I saw someone with a calculator. Was that, who did I see with a calculator? Was it one of you guys? Let's take 2,000 milliliters. You can use your phone if you want. Take 2,000 times 0.023%. So you're going to divide that by 100. We're only going to have about 0.46 milliliters. How big is a milliliter?
Like,
Like a milliliter is like 3 drops, right? And half of that. So that's how much you get to share. Half of a drop. Well, let's not do this. Let's not do that. Let's redefine this. Oh. I hate that when I give away the answer before I'm ready. Will you listen? Because I gave you the answer.
I was.
We're in. Gave you the answer.
Oh.
How much? What is 0.023% of 2 liters of root beer? Is it 460 milliliters, 46 milliliters, 4.6 milliliters, or 0.46 milliliters? Well, you better go. You're going to make room for root beer. Which one is it? So let's not do that. Let's assume that the 2 liters of root beer represents all of the energy that the grass absorbs, not the sun's energy, all of the energy that the sun actually absorbs. Anyway, listen. So the scientist says 10% rule basically says only 10% of energy is transferred on to the next trophic level. So if the 2 liters of root beer is all stored in the grass, how much is left for the cows? In other words, what is 10% of 2 liters, or 10% of 2,000 milliliters? How do you do that?
0.2.
You're going to take 2,000 times 10%, divide by 100. I'll say it one more time, and only one more time. 2,000 times 10%, divide by 100. How much is left for the cows? Oh, I haven't started. Thank you for telling me. We gotta hurry, because we gotta hand out root beer here. I gotta hurry. Hurry! I'm giving you like 12 more seconds. Count.
No, I'm actually experimenting something.
That's 12. That's 12. Comes up.
12.
That was 13.
The answer is A, 200 milliliters. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open up the root beer. Fortunately, I have a sink in here.
Can we put our clippers away?
No, there's more. I'm going to open up the root beer, and I need to keep around, how much? 10%. So that's going to be like about that much, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to pour it out. All done.
He's probably poured into something.
Pour it in the sink.
No, there's probably something.
Yeah, you wouldn't be pouring.
Yeah, there's probably something in the sink.
Alexa, would I waste something?
That's like a month pay rate.
Well, actually, I got a deal on them. They were 2 for 1, so this one was a free one. I picked up the one I wanted. Pour it out. Now the sink. Where's this energy going to? The grass is using it and only storing about 10%. Okay, so that's all the energy that's left in the grass for the cow to eat. Okay, do you guys like eating hamburgers? Matthew, sit down. Sit down, Matthew, Marshall. Don't make me call your mom. A lot of humans eat beef. Not everyone. Most people like steaks and hamburgers. If they only get 10% of what's stored in the cow, this is what's now left in the cow of the entire energy. How many milliliters is left? What's 10% of 200? 200 times 10 divided by 100. Oh, press, yeah, okay. How much is left for humans to eat of this? How much is left? 10% of this. One. David, are you answering? The answer is B, only 20 milliliters. So I gotta pour out like a whole. I gotta pour out 90% of this. Down the sink, down the drain.
Yeah, because you're pouring it in the
Pouring in the hole.
Off to the side.
Like here?
Don't go off to the side.
That's all that's left for us. And I'm probably exaggerating.
Yeah.
That's all that's left for humans. All the energy that was in the grass. Just a little bit. You guys can share this.
Where's the
You guys can share this. Okay, I got 5 minutes. Listen out carefully. The most important part here, and I promise you, you can share this with her. Why do you think food chains tend to be very short? Why is there not like 12 levels to the food chains? There's only so much energy at the top. As you go up the energy food chain, there's not enough. There's nothing left to survive. And food chains are very, very short because most of the energy goes where? Heat. Okay, you guys want to share this?
Yeah.
Who wants root beer? No, you can share it. Knock yourself out. Were you worried? You knew I was doing that. I got to work on my presentation.
Why would I waste it poured out?
Hunter, would you like a delicious bucket of root beer? Yeah? Hunter gets all of the human root beer. Anyone else for root beer? You gotta drink it, I'm not dumping that out.
I guess so.
They'll have some? I didn't bring a picture. Yes, you can bring a picture.
Are we done with
They're not dirty, you have to do it. Good job, root beer.
Go ahead.
Save the environment, use plastic. Anyone else for a bucket of root beer? Lily? Ladies? Root beer? Oh, you got some. Use the glass one. Let's save the environment. We can wash it.
Take time not to wash them.
Yeah,
I'm not washing it. Use the glass one. I only brought those for like. Use the glass one.
Where did the cups go out here?
Just bring them up here. I'll return them. You're welcome. I got a little bit more. Anyone else? Jerry, root beer?
I'll go with you.
Anyone not do root beer? Put it down, is it? What are you talking about? You had the. Anyone else? I got a little left. Good, you get some? You don't want it? Come on, open up. Open up. No? Put it here, I'll put it away. Oh. All right, well, who's having seconds? Drink that. No, it don't work. Don't make me drink it. Well, I did earn it, didn't I?
I'll just drink it now.
I mean, I did buy it. Oh. Have you ever tried pouring out of an ice cream bucket?
Actually, I have.
Come on, really?
Yeah, I do. Aaron, trying to look at my people.
Why?
There isn't anyone that thought I was pouring it down the sink.
No. It's pretty obvious.
Really?
And we're looking out.
I had a feeling you weren't.
I did look.
Didn't sound like.
Hello?
That's a solid.
I do.
And he was like, oh, well,
Sure.
Man, you're a popular guy.
Guidance for.
I know, it's getting late, I'm gonna get ready to sit down. Let's have a coffee. We just.
Return those clickers, you guys. I don't want to wander around all morning collecting clickers.